Actually going to start for just a moment sitting on the ball. We're going to take a moment, roll the shoulders up, back, and down. We're going to raise our right hand and say out loud to whoever's in your room, I promise I will not fall off the ball. Okay. And then, because I know you want to, you can start bouncing. Now, you can have your legs really far apart for a little more balance, stability. You could have them really close together. That would add more challenge. Or hip distance apart is going to be typical most of the time. And you can just enjoy this bounce. You don't have to worry about anything else yet. But in a moment, I want you to start noticing if you're like riding a horse and not posting. And then begin to make your bounce a little more aware. So that in your upper body, it's as if you have a string from the top of your head down to your hips and you're staying tall, right? So you're not flop, flop, flopping, you're lifting and lifting. And then we're just going to add some inhaling up and exhaling down, inhaling up and exhaling down. Just 2 more times like that. Inhale up and exhale down. Hands are going to go down. You step out with 1 foot, in with 1 foot, out and in, out and in, out and in. And a little bounce out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in. You can keep doing that, or you can make it both legs out and both legs in. And then, yeah, when you're ready, you can add jumping jack arms. And remember, you want to know where that ball is so that you will not land on your anything except the ball. But you could create, a little more air if you wanted to, but you don't have to. So you can either make this about the legs moving and the body just bouncing, or a demi squat. Couple more times, your heart rate should be coming up. And it is fine, as I said, you can still be here, right? Single leg, that's fine. And relax. Woo! That was feisty. Wide stance, hands on the insides of your thighs. Squeeze those shoulder blades together, extend that spine, lift the chest, arch into a cow position, roll so you're in front, come into the front of the ball. And then exhale, pull your belly button in, tuck, roll back on the ball, round, bring your hands down, your legs a little bit, cat. And then inhale to open, and exhale to close. And then just do that with your own breath. Beautiful. And then come to center. Quick little reminder, you guys know this. When I bring my feet together, I'm a little wobblier. So if you're looking for more challenge, you have that narrow base of support. Most of the time, we're going to have our heels directly under our knees, which are right out from our hip bones. And if I need more stability, I'm going to go to a wide stance. So we're going to start there. I'm just turning sideways. And I'm going to make that a little bigger. All right, so let's start with that hip distance. And then walk the feet ahead so that you can straighten your legs. And then you're going to keep your torso straight, basically, but bend your knees so that your knees come over your heels, and now you're leaning back, slight incline. And you should definitely feel your abs already. Notice if your head is forward, bring that in line with your spine. Shoulders roll up, back, and down. Open those arms. Feel that challenge in the abs. Deep breath in. On the exhale, I want you to push back into the ball a little bit. On the inhale, I want you to lift a little. Exhale and inhale. So I'm making a little tiny cat-cow right through my belly button area, right through those abs. Trying to keep that head in line though. A couple more here. So it's a little bit of pelvis work, right? It's a little bit of ab work. Both things happening. And your quads are also engaged. You should feel that. And then relax. we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna roll down a little bit more on the ball. Your head is hanging and your hips are still basically on the ball. Give yourself a little bit of support with your fingertips. Try not to pull on the head. And again, wide base of support is a little easier, but you can have it smaller. And from here, allow your head to stay in neutral, but drop back. So I'm still looking at the ceiling. I didn't tip my chin up. My ribs are now popped up. So all we want to do is close the ribs to lift the torso. And now I'm basically going to be a little bit above parallel. So it's inhale up and over and exhale to close the ribs. Inhale up and over and exhale to close the ribs. And just keep that going for me. Beautiful. Last time, inhale back to neutral. Rotate toward me, extend both arms nice and open. Come back to center, support your head, rotate away, open both arms. Come back to center, support, and open. And keep that going. So alternating sides, supporting your head at center, almost done. And then next time you go to the back of the room, come back to center, roll further forward so now your head gets to rest on the ball. I like to bring my arms out to the side to help with my balance. First thing you're going to do is first thing you're going to do is make sure your hips aren't dragging. So lift those up. So notice down and then lift. So you want to feel, you may feel a stretch. It's almost like our thigh stretch exercise that I hardly ever do. But you want to feel that on the fronts of your quads. And then for a little more challenge, walk your ankles, knees, and toes to touch, but keep those hips lifted. Then go back, go to that wide stance so that you can lift those hips even higher and feel that stretch on your thighs, but also feel that squeeze on your glutes. Holding here, we're going to drop the hips, lift the hips, drop the hips, lift the hips, drop, lift, stay there. Now we're going to walk our feet back to parallel. Now we have an option to lift one heel at a time, or try and lift a foot, or try and lift a knee without dropping the hips, or try and lift a knee and extend the leg up in the air. Or do all of that, and when you have the leg up in the air, draw a little circle. So I'm going to give you guys a couple minutes to play with that. Figure out what you need to do to give yourself your best challenge. And once you've alternated those legs, whether it's just a lift of the heel or the knee or the leg, whatever, come on up, seated position. All right, hands down by your sides, holding onto the ball. Lift that right knee off the ground and see how close you can bring it to your chest, and then bring it down. Same thing, left leg, and bring it down. And then we're going to pick up that pace a little bit of marching, and then see if you can lift your hands away from the ball. And then bring your knee up and give it a little circle, or a little half circle. Just a little extra balance challenge. And then whichever way you were circling, try and circle the other way. Yep. Then come back to center. And once again, we're going to put our hands on the ball, because we're going to see if we can find that balance by lifting our feet off the ground and just hovering for a moment on top of the ball. If you can do that, then see if you could add a tuck and a tip. Tuck and a tip. And if you could do that, see if you could add side to side. And of course, if you can do all that, you're going to try a circle. And if none of that works, then let's just get that pelvic work by tipping and tucking. And again, trying to stay tall through the spine while the hips do the work. Try your side to side. Try alternating. We did this a few weeks ago, right? Alternate hip going forward and back. And then you put that all together. And again, the movement is from that lower body, not so much the upper. Or you can just hang out and balance. And relax. All right, we are coming down to the ground. You're going to bring your ball with you, of course, please. You're going to lie all the way down and bring that ball right above your chest. And then just find that nice neutral spine. Head is lengthened, back of the neck is long. Hands are squeezing that ball. Let's give it a squeeze till you feel your triceps and your biceps. Deep breath in. Exhale, pull your belly button in, float the ribs off the ground. Inhale, reach your arms overhead for ab prep. And exhale down, deep breath in. Exhale to lift. Inhale, stretch and reach. And exhale down, deep breath in. Exhale, lift. Inhale, reach. Exhale down. Adding on a little entertainment if you want. When your arms go overhead, bounce forward, catch it, and then come back and down. It doesn't really add a huge component of strength challenge or ab work, but you have to stay there a moment longer, and you just have to coordinate a little bit. And come on back to center. Let's take that ball, put it between our thighs, and then hold it in place with your hands. And then bring your feet under your knees and squeeze as hard as you can, right? So trying to pop your ball, working those inner thighs. Again, sometimes you have to hold your hands on top of the ball so that you don't slide it up and out. All right, and we'll add that inner thigh movement in just a moment. We're going to lift those legs tabletop, but we're going to be in that froggy position for double leg stretch. Deep breath in, exhale, arms lift, and then just as we did a moment ago, we're going to reach the arms overhead. You can bounce if you want, but you don't have to. Stretch the legs at the same time, froggy position, put that ball there, extend the legs, and the arms go overhead. Grab the ball, not by pulling it into you, but by going up to get it, stretch and reach. Bend the knees, but not bringing it in, right? So you got to go up and get that, stretch it out. So that ball might end up a little bit more toward your ankles, hopefully. And if you want to do one last little fun thing, you bend the knees, regular position, maybe a little extended. And then you see if you can roll the ball to the ankles, back to the knee, come halfway down and extend. You do not have to add that one on. It's a little bit a lot of a big addition. And then next time you come back, let's come down. We're going to take a moment, let the knees drop over to the left, let the ball drop to the right. And just rest there for a second. Come back up through center, let your knees drop to the right, arms to the left. We'll just do that a couple times, getting movement through that thoracic area, that chest and the shoulders and that upper back. Getting mobility through the spine as we twist in both directions. You could even bring that ball back up overhead as you come around if you want. And then we come to center. And then once again, we're going to grab that ball between our thighs, or between our legs, but lower this time, lower legs. Knees are bent for toe touches, so fingers on your rib cage. Deep breath in, exhale, push those ribs to the ground and closer to your hips, arms open in a T position, head nod, yes, inhale. Exhale, staple the belly button to the spine. On the inhale, legs are going to move away from you, and on the exhale, they come up nice and slowly. So inhale as those toes move away, exhale to bring it up. You could make this a heel flex if you want, or you could point your toes on the way down and flex on the way up. If you want a little more challenge, you straighten out the legs, and you do this with straight legs. Then you're gonna leave those legs right above you. We're gonna go tick-tock, side to side. If you wanna add on, when your legs go to the left, the right leg rolls on top, and then the other way around. Keep that going. Sorry, chaos over here. You could turn it into a circle if you wanted, but just make sure you reverse your circle every time. And then come back to center. We're just gonna hold the ball up here for a second. Wide stance with your feet. Let the left knee drop in and the right one drop open for a big stretch for that hip flexor. And then you can just let the ball rest on that left side. You might be able to encourage that hip flexor to drop down a little more, or excuse me, that knee to drop down, increase that stretch. Inhale back up to center, lift the ball up, drop the right knee in, and then again, maybe you can bring that ball to your right hip. And back up through center. Take that ball onto your ankles. This is rolling like a ball with the ball, and the point is to try not to kick the ball across the room. So try a few, or if rolling on your spine is not good for you, you can just roll to your side. Do a couple more, and then meet me seated, please. Pull the glutes out from under you as you sit tall. Bring your legs wide, bent knee is fine. Let's press down on the ball to grow even taller through the spine, and then hinge forward. And then press down to grow taller and hinge. So you're pressing and lengthening both at the same time. Feel that length through the spine and that stretch. And then we'll bring it up. We're going to go into a little bit of a roll down with the ball. So feet are on the ground, knees are bent. Remind yourself to bring your knees together or keep them the same distance apart. Lift the ball up just a little bit. Exhale, hinge back, and then see if you can lift it a little higher without anything bad happening in your body. Lower the ball. Exhale, come back up. Inhale. Exhale, hinge back. Inhale, lift. Just a couple more. We did a similar movement, except we were on the ball, right? But same principles as what we did at the beginning of class when we were working, going down and coming up. We just have a bigger range of motion on this one. And relax. One knee crosses over the other, one leg over the other. Slump into this one, get a stretch through the back side of your body and your hips. Sit tall, uncross your legs, recross them the other way, and give me a hinge forward with a slump. All righty. Okay. So now we're going to do that forward series. So before you start, if you need some extra knee padding, you can fold your mat up once or twice. You are going to need more space out in front of you. And then you're going to come up onto your knees, either hip distance or together. You're going to bring that ball really close. We're going to drop down. We're going to try and get our elbows toward our knees. We're going to try and get the ball toward our chest. So we're in a tiny little ball, arms on the ball. Then I'm going to start to go forward. And as I go forward, I'm going to lift my toes so that I can roll under the fronts of my thighs. Then I'm going to slide that ball out. I think I started a little too far. So that eventually I come into a plank position. So make sure the booty's not sticking out, the hips aren't dragging. You want to be strong, ribs in, booty under. Exhale, come back as far as you want. You don't have to come back far. So you slide out, find your plank, lengthen those arms, and pull back. And again, you don't have to pull back very far. The pullback is where you feel a lot of the work. I could probably stop right there. Just keep that going for me. Last one, slide it out, challenge yourself, hold, abs in, and then tuck that ball right underneath your abs, and let yourself roll over the ball. Usually this first or second favorite stretch of the day. While you're there, go ahead and prop yourself up, bring your feet wider than your mat, tuck your toes, and then straighten your legs so the ball ends up basically underneath your hips. Hands are going to come down onto the ball and press yourself up into an extension. So just a couple like that, using your arms to help lift yourself up. And then if you want, just make it fingertips. And if you want your low back to do a little more work, hands by your sides and lift. Good. This time, come up, lift your left arm up over your head. Feel that length. Bring it down. Right arm comes up. And then just do alternating a couple more times. And relax. All right. Now, we're going to come forward just enough that your hips end up being the highest point on your body. Your hands, you may be all the way down on your knuckles, or you might be halfway. Probably not straight arms. We're going to work the same area by lifting the legs up, and we're going to bring them together. So they're going to come up and down. We're still working that low back. Only this time, we're doing it in a reverse hyperextension. Beautiful. So now we're going to look down and make sure that our hands are at least a foot in front of the ball, and our hands are only a couple inches apart, so that when I lift my legs up, I'm in a little bit of a plank, but I'm going to bend my elbows backwards, let my head go down and my feet go up. This is that seesaw move, right? So I'm not going to do down and then up. I'm not going to do right, they go together, right? So as my head goes down, my legs come up, I'm doing a push-up. If you're not feeling it, walk your hands a little further, drag the ball a little further under your body, and you should start to feel that in your triceps. Remember, those elbows are coming backwards, so it is our Pilates push-up. Legs go up the same amount, the torso goes down. If you need even more challenge, hands walk out, ball comes closer to your thighs, so more of your upper body weight is having to get pressed away. Last one, stay up. You should be in a beautiful plank. Notice if you're sagging, pull those abs in, press the floor away, pull your ribs up. You might even roll that ball underneath you a little bit more. Make sure your knees aren't bent and floppy, so stretch through those thighs. For more challenge, and I know I might go off screen, walk your hands forward, drag the ball so it comes down your legs. Maybe it's at your thighs, maybe it's towards your knees, and again, check everything. Shoulders out of your ears, broad chest, broad shoulders, abs in, ribs in, tailbone tucked a little bit, legs reaching. More challenge, you walk those hands further, you drag that ball underneath your shin bones, you press away, you pull those abs in, shoulders are broad, head in line with your spine, and lastly, again, I'll probably go partially off screen, bring it underneath your ankles if you want. Big, strong move here. When you're ready, it's easiest to drop a leg off, but you're at home, you can roll backwards. And let's go back to our block stretch. And then when you're ready, we're going to come out. We did that a minute ago where we lifted one arm. So lift one arm and the opposite leg. And gently bring them down, and then do the other side, just alternating. And then when you're ready, see if you could lift your legs, see if you could lift your arms. Like a Superman flying. And we get to relax. Then from there, you may want to keep your mat folded one time because you're going to be on the mat, but you want the ball to be on the floor. So you're going to sit at the very edge of your mat. As a matter of fact, come off the front of the edge of your mat. Bring the ball between your legs and then roll down so that you end up on the mat. Stretch your legs out. Another of those delicious positions. Just relaxing here for a moment. So now we go into our bridge series. So once again, feet together, more challenging, hip distance, moderate, wider apart, a little more support. So maybe let's walk the feet apart just a little bit. Deep breath in, spine in neutral. On the exhale, lift your hips up. So that's your first level of bridge. Now, you can challenge yourself by lifting your arms off the ground. You can challenge yourself by walking your feet to touch. You can challenge yourself by doing both of those. Don't recommend it. Or you can challenge yourself, choose whether you want to walk your feet apart a little bit again, because you're going to lift and lower one foot 3 times. And then, of course, the other leg. And then we're all back here. Your option is to stay there, or for a little more challenge, drop your hips, roll the ball forward until your feet are on the ball. Let's call that just over that top third of the ball. Lift it up. You can see you're obviously higher, more challenged. Hands lift. You could draw your feet together, or once again, you could try to lift and lower so that one leg is working. That hamstring on that one leg should really feel that. And then gently bring your hips down. That was level 2. Level 3, if you want to go there, you're going to roll the ball so close that it's almost touching your hamstrings, but the point is to get your heels on top of the ball, not your whole leg, just your heels. And then again, we lift up. You have those options to lift the hands, walk your feet together, lift and lower one leg at a time. And gently down. Roll that ball back to position 1. Take a break. As a matter of fact, hug that right knee in. Give that right hamstring a nice little moment to be off, stretch. And then bring it back. Left leg comes in. All right, so now we're going to add on hamstring and glute work. So again, feet hip distance apart will be a little kinder, touching a little more challenging, wider base is fine. Hands are going to stay down for now. Deep breath in. Exhale, lift the hips, roll the ball in and out, in and out. Option to lift the left leg in the air, do a set of 5 with your right leg. And then, of course, you have to even it up. And then both legs, roll the ball in, stay lifted, make sure your hips are in the ground, up off the ground, your knees are bent, tap your hips down to the ground, lift them up, down, up, 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 up. Almost there. 4 more. And relax. Oh, take your left leg, let it rest on the ball. roll it over to the left, and let's just get a nice passive little stretch over there. Meanwhile, bend your right knee and just let it hang out for a moment. And then reach around, grab, and pull it over towards your right shoulder, and maybe draw a circle in one direction and then the other. Then bring that right knee in nice and close to your right shoulder. See if you could reach down and pull your right toes back and press the knee down as you push the heel up. Get a little bit of mobility through that foot if that would feel good. Then stretch that leg up, point the toes, roll the left leg and the ball back to center. Crisscross your right ankle over the left thigh. Go a little further than you normally would, and then bend that left knee till you feel a nice stretch on that right hip. You don't want to roll the hip up. You want to try and keep the hip long, not rounded, but lengthened. And then cross that right knee all the way over and let both knees travel to the left until you feel a really deep stretch in that hip. Grab your ball with your right hand, roll it over to your right, and let the knees drop all the way to the left. That should feel really good. As you come back through center, your right leg gets to hang out on the ball over to the right and just rest. Left foot on the ground, knee is bent. And then hug that left knee in, create some circles. Then bring it in, pull back with those toes with that left hand, press down with the knee and up with the heel, get that nice stretch. Extend that leg up, bring that right leg back through center, cross that left ankle over the right thigh, press it open, roll the ball in with your right heel till you feel that outer hip stretch. We'll stay there for a moment. Again, we're not trying to roll so close that we lose the stretch. We want to have a long, flat sacrum as we're pulling this hip. And then you're going to crisscross all the way over. You can roll the ball deeper now. Feel that deeper stretch. Let it roll a little to the right. And then eventually grab that ball with your left hand, knees drop right. As you come back through center, you're actually going to come up to your knees with the ball over on your right hip. So I'm going to lean over. Then I'm going to take my right hand on the ball for support. I'm going to bring my left leg in front, right leg behind, straddling the mat, and then come up. So it looks like a side plank, right? Sort of. We're going to add on to this. So take that top hand back to your hip, or you can just hold here. Press yourself up using that right hand. Maybe go to spider fingers. Maybe no hands at all, and it goes on your shoulder. And if that's all working out for you, then you're going to try those extended arms. And we're going to stay lifted here. We're going to see if we can bring our arms close together. Hold here for 4, 3, 2, and 1, and relax. My mat started moving. Come on up, other side. So you're leaning against that ball with your left hip. Left hand supports, right leg in front, left leg behind, straight legs. Arm up, you can just hold this, or you can start to lift. Maybe go to your fingertips. Oh, this was here, wasn't it? Maybe no hand at all. If that's happening, maybe arms wide. And then lastly, come up, bring those hands together, stretch and reach like a sideways Superman, and relax. All right, we're going back over to the first side again, only this time, you find that same position, but your right hand gets to be down on the ground, and your feet are going to be stacked up. So legs are one on top of the other. If you need this left hand here for support, that's fine. If you can put it on your hip, that's awesome. You can decide. Top leg is going to lift and lower just 4 times. Then it's gonna lift, draw a circle to the front, small circle 4 times. Whoops. And a small circle to the back 4 times. Bigger circle to the front 4 times. And to the back 4 times. Then you're going to see if you can draw a circle as big as the ball 4 times. And the other way. And then we're just going to take that top arm, crisscross your top leg, take that top arm, let it drop over, and that should give you a nice stretch on that low back area. You get to do all that on the other side, of course. So legs are stacked, left hand is on the ground, right hand on your hip. If you want, you try it up there, or if you need it, it's on the ball. Top leg lifts 4 times. And then hip height, small circles 4. And to the back. Front bigger. And back bigger. And then as big as the ball if you can, 4 to the front. And 4 to the back. Then that top leg goes in front, top arm comes up and over, let the ball roll partially under your ribs. And then as you come back to center, you're gonna, if you can do this, roll back over onto the ball, and then come down so that knees are bent and you're right up against the ball. First option is to open the arms. Second option, support the head. Third option, let the head rest on the ball, arms open. Next option, lift up and let your head and your arms get a nice stretch here, your chest. I'm not going to do the last option. It would be to roll all the way over, head goes up and over the ball. Whichever one you're doing, we're looking for a beautiful stretch of the chest. Back of the neck is long. You could rotate your whole arm, moving from the shoulder socket so that the palm faces the ceiling, and then the thumb, and then the palm faces down. Big movements here. And then lastly, you're going to go ahead, you're going to roll back up on top of your ball, however it is you need to get there. And we are where we started. We're going to do a couple last little stretches here on the ball. They involve a little bit of balance, so I'll give you some options. You're going to try to cross your left leg over the right. If you're squinching down in your body, use your hands to sit yourself tall, and that will help your balance also. You may be able to scoot your hips back and hinge forward for a deeper stretch. And then cross the leg all the way over. You can stay there, or you can twist. Back through center, uncross. Cross that right leg over the left leg. Press into the ball to grow tall. Hinge forward. Press back with the hips. Press into the ball to be tall. Sitting up, crisscross. Turn it into a twist if you like. And then lastly, we're going to go back to the beginning of the class. We're going to roll through our cow, tailbone long, and roll through our cat tucking. And again, we did that pelvic movement earlier, so think about that. Think about the ball rolling underneath you. So your pelvis is involved, not just your spine. And then go into that cow, nice extension. From there, keep that extension, but pull the abs in and pull the ribs in, hands to your, actually not hands to your heart. Big deep breath in, bring it up. Big ball day, nice work, thank you guys.